Hey, everybody.
Feed your spirit with music and ministry on Rejoice 102.3.
Welcome to Soul Uprising with Bishop Gregg L.Greer radio show. The show
20 seconds.
news, political, and social information, all done from an inspirational perspective.
All right, 10 seconds. I'll come to you live, right?
All right.
Bishop Greer stands out as one of the growing
Soul Uprising. Bishop Greer is live in 3, 2.
Hey, Chicago and Chicagoland and surrounding communities. We're welcoming you back again to Soul Uprising with Bishop Gregg L.Greer. Let me tell y'all something. We got a show. No, let me say that again. We got a show. We got a couple of, what is the best word? I don't even want to say advocates. I don't even want to say these guys are saviors for the community. And their reach spans all across America. And I tell you what, I am happy to introduce Martin Johnson, known in Chicago as the CrimeChaser. All right, and we're going to let him tell you a little bit about himself in the moments to come. We also have on the line Reverend Lionel Gantt from Atlanta, Georgia, and he's rocking and doing a lot of great things out in the Chicagoland area. One of my past brothers, and he's still with me on the front lines out in Atlanta, Georgia, with the family of Dr. Martin Luther King in the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. He's on the line. You there, brother? So he's coming in. He's going to be in, and we're gonna keep it pushing. We're gonna keep it pushing because both of these brothers got a lot to say. So before we go ahead and introduce our guests and hear from them, I want to do the sweep real quick. So y'all know Soul Uprising brings the best in faith, politics, and people from all done from an inspirational perspective. News you truly can use. And for me, y'all know who I am. But for those who don't, I've been on the front lines for the better part of about 10 years in social justice circles around the country. And we serious about what we do, especially from Chicago. And for those who know Chicago, hey, we on the map for a lot of things, good, bad, ugly, and indifferent. And I just got to keep it real to y'all. So we're going to go ahead and have a great show. And what we're talking about today, y'all, we're talking about the urban communities and what are we doing to keep the urban communities informed. And these two gentlemen, you can hear from them. I don't like setting things up, editorializing too much, but I'm going to let them tell it to you from their unique perspective. So without further delay, we're going to start with Brother Martin Johnson. Now, just a little bit of synopsis about who he is, a little bit of bio. Mr. Johnson is the crime chaser. I'm going to put that in quotations, the crime chaser. And I tell you what, I don't know how he got that marker or that moniker or that name, but for those who don't know what those are, but it fits, y'all. The reason why it fits is because he's kept the community in Chicagoland and abroad informed of a lot of things when it comes to social justice. So without further delay, we're going to let you introduce yourselves. Welcome, Mr. Martin Johnson.
Hey, well, Greg, appreciate you inviting me on the show today. It's a delight when you called me. You reached out to East 47th Street. Well, a little bit about me. I'm from the south side of Chicago, from Inglewood. I've been doing CrimeChaser for the last 4 or 5 years. I started off with an organization called Chicago Against Violence. Andre Smith was the CEO, and James Poole was the co-director of Chicago's Violence. That's where I got my start. And how I came up with the name CrimeChaser, I was like, hey, a storm chaser chased crime, and I chased crime. So I was like, well, CrimeChaser. It was a little different. I mean, it's a good thing. I've learned. I made some mistakes doing chasing crime, but I corrected my mistakes, and I have gained the trust of the community because of my live videos. They are unedited, uncut. I don't slice and I don't dice. I don't add to it, nor do I take off of it. So that's where I'm at with that. I follow a lot of police brutality cases, which I've worked with Greg on a lot of those things. We've been on the front lines together. I do crashes, I do fires, I do violent crimes. I don't get a chance to get to every crime in the city of Chicago, but the ones I do get there, I do make it count, and I go live. And I don't show graphic pictures of bloody bodies and stuff like that. I do show bodies only if they're covered up or if it's shown from a distance. That's out of respect to the family because me personally, I am I have a family member that was a victim of violence, of Chicago violence, twice. One deceased and one got shot. So I know how it feels for you go on Facebook or social media and look at one of your family members laying on the ground, blood up, and somebody got a camera on Facebook Live. I mean, that's a horrible thing. And so I try to consider that when I'm taking, when I'm doing the videos. So basically I use a scanner. I work in the Inglewood area, the South Shore area, some hundreds, sometime in the hundreds. So every now and then I might hit the suburbs, but mostly on the south side of Chicago, in the Auburn-Gresham area. So that's what I do. That's how I got my name. Also, I'm not just a person that run around with a camera just trying to get likes and clout and all that type of stuff. No, I am intelligent. Me and Charles McKenzie, let me bring that up. We discovered a bait truck like a couple of years ago in Inglewood.
You know what? Let's do this. Let's get back because I tell you what, our brother Martin, he has a lot to say, and you know what? We don't want to do any spoilers because we're gonna ask you about that truck situation.
Yes,
that's one thing that you gotta give us the enlightenment on.
Yes,
so,
sir.
Without further delay, we also are going to bring this other brother, as I told you guys in the sweep. His name is Lionel Gantt. He is a minister, an advocate from social justice and a faith-based, we call them liberators. And Pastor Gantt, are you with us on the line right now? Hey, sir, how you doing? I guess he's you got to come closer to your phone. You got to speak into that phone. We're having a little bit of difficulty hearing you. Are you there? Okay. So while we're waiting on Pastor Gantt to get his situation together, let's talk. Let's break this. Let's break this down, Martin, a little bit. Let's talk about a little bit of the statistics, and I want people to understand because, like, anytime we go around, the biggest struggle that people have is education, knowledge. And you know what Scripture says, right? Let's just take it back to Scripture. People perish from what?
For lack of knowledge.
I mean, and in our communities, the urban communities, people are dying in mass droves, and we're not trying to be dog. We are just trying to speak upon the truth.
That's true.
A lot of it is about lack of knowledge. So with that in mind, I just want to break down some statistics, and we're going to come back to Reverend Gantt. So basically, here in Chicago, some of our deadliest neighborhoods, Martin, neighborhoods which I've seen you and you still with me in, Austin, Garfield Park, Inglewood. In 2019, Austin has had 50 homicides, right?
Wow.
197 folks with 50 homicides in not Chicago alone, but one community. African American, is urban, and for the most part is challenged economically. Okay. Garfield Park, which we know to be the west side of Chicago, 39 homicides, 175 folks have been wounded through gun violence, community violence, stabbing, so on and so forth. The factors are multiple reasons why they were wounded, but 175 wounded. Wow. Inglewood.
My hood.
Your hood, man. Your hood had 40 homicides, 173 people wounded. North Lawndale, 27 homicides. Year to date now. Year to date, as of this week. These are actual rolling statistics. I'm telling you, we got a challenge, man. We have got our hands full. And one of the things that yourself and Pastor Gantt do so uniquely is you keep the community informed. And I've watched you several times just from live, because you go on live and you go to scenes, crime scenes happening, things, and you keep the community informed. And let's real quick, can you give me a brief synopsis of why that is important to keep that communication pipeline going?
Well, any concerned citizen would love to know what's going on in that area, especially the homeowners and, people that want their neighborhood to grow and prosper and be crime-free. To be aware is to be alive, Bishop. And I want to say this. If it had not been for the lot of crime that I report, some things I report you don't see on the news, you don't get heads up. So I give you just the crime in raw, Greg. I don't give you a 30-second clip and say, hey, he shot this person, but I might give you a 40 minutes, an hour, half an hour, 25 minutes, 15 minutes of what's happening in your community. And that's what I plan to do, and that's what I do. I do with pride.
So listen, I'm going to take this back to historical, and then we're going to bring Pastor Gantt on. But before I even do that, let's say for all of those watching, and we appreciate the folks who are watching us online, Mark Clemens, brother, my brother in the struggle, another one of our brothers, right, Martin? Yes, Joan Trappa, Patricia French, Jaguar French, Lynn Greer, sister in the struggle, my sister actually, Bishop Don Adams, standing on the front lines with us from Freedom First International, great faith leader, Elder Joseph Pearsley, young, strong Spartan, working with us on liberation minister. So listen, y'all, if y'all have any questions, and we appreciate y'all watching, 773-288-9922. Listen, we're going to break this thing down for you guys within the next 20 minutes, but it's a short segment, but we give information, and these gentlemen are on the front line. So let's skip it to Atlanta, Georgia, and let's talk to Reverend Pastor Lionel Gantt. His organization is the S.C.L.C. Stop the Violence Movement. For those who don't know what S.C.L.C. means, Southern Christian Leadership Conference. This is the organization that was founded by Dr. King. How you doing, Pastor Gantt? Are you with me?
Yeah, I'm doing fine. How's everybody?
Hey, we doing good, man. We just been waiting to hear from you. You've been playing like shy on us, like a Michael Jackson shy or something. Hey, listen, Pastor, I'm going to let you just kind of tell a little bit about what you do, brief synopsis. But you know what? Can you do me a quick favor just for auditory purposes? Can you kind of come closer to the phone, or you got some kind of audio thing? So if you got your speakerphone on, if you could get off it, I don't know what it is, but we just need to hear you a little bit clearer.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Better. That's better. Okay, go ahead. So go ahead and introduce yourselves to the community. And I told them a lot of great things about you. You know, you could take care of me afterwards. You know, I take a check by mail or whatever. But hey, listen, brother, I love you and what you're doing. And can you just kind of tell people about who you are and uniquely what your perspective is when it comes to the urban communities and the service that's very necessary that you provide so well?
Well, you know, the S.C.L.C. is Dr. Kingdom organization, and it represents nonviolence. But the main thing that we're faced right now is with the mass violence and the mass incarceration. So I oversee the S.C.L.C. Stop the Violence and Incarceration campaign, and it's an action for social change. So basically, we're trying to change the hearts and minds of men. You know, because when we're dealing with violence, we're dealing with crime, you know, poverty is main cause of a lot of the violence that we see and support. So what we want to do, we want to attack the source of that violence. So we run online campaigns to the minds of people, to change the hearts and minds of men, and that's our main focus.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, and I'm going to vouch for you and tell you, for the people who don't know you, a couple of key things before we go to the line and take a caller and some questions. A couple of things about you is, you have stood on the front lines with the S.C.L.C. and your own organization that you've led. And we, 2 years ago, we led one of the biggest multinational, I don't like to use the word protest. I like to say demonstration, only because that's what we're doing. Normally, protest would be the typical term that's used, but demonstration, because we are showing our people, showing and proving what it is, what you can do. And you don't need a platform. You don't need to be the mayor. You don't need to be the governor. You don't need to be some kind of elected official. It starts and ends with you. So listen, we're going to talk a little bit about what you do from the standpoint of Atlanta, Georgia, and we're going to come back to Brother Mark. But let's go to the phone lines real quick and just take No. If you want to call in, I was going to say, if you want to call in, you can call in at 773-288-9922. And those who are listening and on Facebook Live with us, hey, shoot us some questions. You know, we are here for you. Lack of knowledge, people what? Pastor Gantt. What happens when people have lack of knowledge? Amen. Right. Amen. And you know, some people say you guys use that too much, you ministers use that too much, but I can only speak the truth. And if truth has to be recycled and recycled time and time again, then that's just what we gotta do. So let's talk about some statistics real quick. And statistics wise, Atlanta, let's talk about things from the standpoint of Atlanta. Then we're going to come back down to Chicago, Illinois. But when we're talking about the Atlanta area, you know, from the standpoint of where you're at, one of the biggest problems there is robberies, okay? And when we say robberies, you know, the crime index shows that you are in the top 10% of crime rate in 2019. And your city lowered that in 2016, and we're talking the violent crime rate. So you're in the top 10% nationally, Atlanta, and one of the worst areas. We're saying College Park. We're saying some of the higher level urban areas. Can you speak to some of the issues that are going on out in Atlanta for the people who don't know and what you're dealing with right now, just in a brief synopsis?
Well, you know, it's economic. You know, there's a lot of jobs. While there's a lot of jobs here in Atlanta, you know, there's still a lot of people that are not working. Mm-hmm. And the fact of the matter is, you know, a lot of the people realize that there's more money out there on the street than it is working for someone. I mean, we got young girls down here that are you know, tricking and doing things with men. They're making, you know, $300 to $500 every trick. Yeah, it's going to be very difficult to get them to go to work at McDonald's. And it's all about the the crime, you know, does pay for those that are out in the streets. But we know the end result of that. We know the end result of that is either going to be death or in prison. And so our campaign is to reach them where they congregate every day. Amen. And they congregate every day where they congregate online. Right. We launch an online campaign to try to reach them, you know, where we can reach them every day. And we have to change the mindset of our people. There's other ways of making money other than through by crime and other than through by the streets. And we have a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of people that are doing great things down here. And so we basically, we're taking it to where they congregate at every day. We're taking it to the streets, and we're taking it to them through online.
That's right. And Pastor Gantt, you know, for the purposes of time and clarity, I just want to say, you know, two more, Union City and East Point are high on the, not just College Park, but those are the top three most dangerous areas. And so going back to your point, and we're going to take it back to Martin Johnson, going back to your point, you said you're in the areas where it matters, and that's one of the critical things that we have to do. We have to be in the critical areas where we can reach people and affect people. Now, before we brought you on, I wanted to drill down a historical perspective, and it's about communication. So I like to say that back in Africa, and the reason why we have to draw those parallels is because we have to know where we came from. So back in Africa, tribes communicated with each other through talking drums. So if you had an outsider, somebody who came into the tribe or in your village, and they were from the outside, basically the drums would change, the level would change, it would indicate danger, they would indicate welcome. So these are the kind of things. So today I'd like to say folks like you and I have mediums to communicate with people through social media and all of that, but we've got to be the talking drums for our community. And I tell you what, this is one of the things that yourself and Brother Martin do so well. With that in mind, you know, there was a situation in Chicago roughly about last summer, right? And what happened was the Chicago police, and I don't know what other agency that we're working with, where they were staging trucks, and these trucks were kind of like a predatory thing, to where they were fake trucks and they would be left open. So basically, inside they would have Chicago police or detectives, and people would go into the truck, which is what they shouldn't have done, because it's like dangling candy in front of a baby. But they would go into the trucks and they would be waiting for several officers who would grab them. So Martin Johnson was really on the front lines of that, and he broke this story open just basically based upon his observations. And I mean, it hit the national news, and it's a real big problem. And I would like to say that we appreciate the work that you did in exposing that situation. Sure. And we're going to share all of those interviews about that. And again, I like to say, and for clarification, Martin broke it. Martin broke the story. So talk a little bit about that, Martin.
Well, let me say this. The first person that broke the story was Charles McKenzie. He broke it like the day before I got it, because he alarmed me of what's going on to keep a lookout on. Then when I finally got it, because he caught the tail end of it, but I caught it from A to Z. I caught them setting it up. I caught them in the midst of baiting the people to go break into the back of the truck and everything. I caught it on Facebook Live, man. It was amazing, the story. I guess I didn't know how big the story was, but we've always known that these type of vehicles, trucks, come in our community and do things to us. I mean, I'm like this. If you put a steak in front of a lion, what you expect a lion to do? And he's hungry. He's going to eat it. You know, so instead of them waiting for the criminals to go up on the tracks, they brought the tracks down on the street. Which, I mean, that's the thing to do. If they're going to continue breaking trains and freights, let them wait for them to come up on the tracks, which is private property.
Right.
But why bring that in the street in a poor neighborhood, which they would have never, Greg, put it in Hyde Park. They would have never put it in Ravenswood.
Wouldn't have been in River North or downtown. You wouldn't have seen it on the mile.
None of that.
Yes,
Trust
sir.
me.
Yes,
so,
sir.
That story did a lot. Thank God for Kim Fox. She was able to drop all charges against all parties, you know.
Okay, how many people were charged in that situation?
I think it was like about 4 or 5 or something like that.
Okay, but that was only one incident that was known.
Incident, right.
So, I mean, there were multiple times that this had happened before.
Yes.
Is it still going on, Martin?
Not here in Chicago.
Did you stop it?
We stopped it.
Hey, man, let's give Mr. Johnson a round of applause. Listen, this is the type of work that we need. Pastor Gantt, in about a 2-minute synopsis, because we only got a short period of time, what are some of the projects that you have going on in your community right now? And I tell you, I'll be standing with you next summer in the spring on one particular thing. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, we went multifaceted. Right now, we have a lot of skits and plays that are going on with other organizations. And we're focusing on our mission girls right now. We're focusing on the sex trafficking, the drug trade. And then we have the S.C.L.C. Stop the Violence West that will be coming up this summer. And you know, we're trying to change the hearts and minds of men, and that's what we're trying to do through motion media.
So we got 4 minutes left, and I just want to, and we need to continue this, and I think we're going to do a continuation of this show, so let's get that together, because I would like to have both of you on as regular guests, but we'll talk about that offline. How do people get in contact with you if they want to get more information and ask any questions and really connect with you about what's going on in Atlanta, Pastor Gantt?
Well, they can contact me through our Facebook pages, S.C.L.C. Stop the Violence, Facebook pages and groups. And they can contact me direct at my number 448396511, and you know, they can contact me by my email, which is just my name backwards at LionelPastor@yahoo.com.
Okay, and I'll also reshare that information, Pastor. What about you, Brother Martin?
Well, you know, you can Google me, Google CrimeChaser, or you come on my Facebook page, Martin G. Johnson. I have 2 Facebook pages. It's very active. I normally post something every day. If not, crime is quotes and all the different things that's going on in community events. Missing young ladies. We also have that problem too here, Pastor, in Chicago. We have that problem.
Deal with it.
Yeah.
That's something that we've been dealing with.
Right.
And We'll talk about that too.
Right. So basically, that's how they reach you, Brother Gregg Greer.
Hey, listen, I want y'all to know something. Listen, real quick. When we can't depend upon major media, we can't depend upon City Hall, we can't depend upon Governor's House, we can't depend upon the White House. We depend upon people like Martin Johnson, CrimeChaser, and Pastor Lionel Gantt to keep the communication going. So it's very important, I'm saying it 3 times, very important that y'all connect with these brothers. I'll share their links and we'll keep them back on. I'm going to ask you guys to come on for the once a month for the crime report, and we're going to talk about crime in communities around the country. Can y'all do that? Can we talk about that? Hey, listen, y'all going to be able to see myself and Brother Martin Johnson tomorrow night. We're going to be at the Chicago Police Board meeting, and we have a new police chief, and it's kind of got some controversy, but we'll share that information. We want y'all to come out and join us at 7 o'clock. And it's going to be at the JLM Community Center. We'll put that information out there. Come on and join us because it's going to be something for the community. And our chief and our Chicago policing has been a problem, and both from the standpoint of communication. So you'll be able to talk about whatever issues you have and talk to the new chief. So we're going to be out there, right? So get a hold of us, connect with us. And I'll tell you what, listen. I just want y'all to know, these are the kind of shows that we do. We really strive to keep the community informed. You guys connect with us, follow us, share our lives, send us information, drill us down with questions, and call in. Connect with these guests because we got to connect the dots, not just locally, not just city to city. Let's take it back to Africa and connect the dots because what it is, it's called survival. Soul Uprising is going to bring you the best. I'm going to try my best. Our guests are going to try our best to bring you the best information, and we want to continue connecting with you. We want your feedback. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and listen to the show, please, and tell people. You can also listen on Rejoice in HD and on our sister station, WX 92.3 HD Channel 2. Listen, we need y'all to connect with us. We need y'all to follow us. In the days ahead, we need y'all to reach with us and not just connect with us, but let's work together to see how we can change the plight of our community, all right? Solar Uprising, listen, we appreciate y'all. We love y'all. Let's be about this business. Not even talk about it. Let's be about it.
Yes, sir.
We out of here, y'all.
We out of peace. Sorry about the sound, people. I had a lot of problems with my sound. I had to come on Facebook Live, so I hope you got it.
You still
I
live?
went on YouTube, so, people, y'all forgive me. It's not my phone. I got plenty of memory and gigs with all that, but you know how they do me. They don't want me to get the information out. Now, if I was showing us doing drugs, booties popping up in the air, half-naked women, it wouldn't be a problem. It wouldn't be a problem. But when you try to get that information out, oh my God, it's horrible, people. They don't want us to have, like Brother Gregg said, my people perish for the lack of knowledge. And that's what it is. If you don't have that knowledge, you're going to perish. Somebody said what you don't know can't hurt you, but I say what you don't know can kill you.
So, y'all, we're going to finish this show, but remember, we're going to be out we're going to be out on the west side at the JLM Community Center for the Chicago Police Board meeting, and we're going to be addressing some issues, so we need y'all to come on out. We'll share that information later on. Share this live, y'all. Soul Uprising, y'all know how we do. Brother Johnson, myself, Pastor Gantt, let's keep it going, y'all. God bless y'all. We love y'all.